Hey guys, it's Christy from the Stamp Cycle here, and today we're going to be making a graduation card using some of this Shine On Designer Series paper and the Sunburst Thinlit die. The Shine On Designer Series paper is a retired product. It was in the Occasions catalog this past fall, but I love this stuff, so I decided to use it for this graduation card. So I've got the Sunburst die there, and I cut the Sunburst out of some basic black cardstock and then some of this silver striped Shine On Designer Series paper. This Designer Series paper is craft cardstock with the one side has some foil patterns on it and the other side has some bright colors like Cucumber Crush. I do believe it has Watermelon Wonder, but I really liked the shiny side for the graduation card. So now that I had my Sunburst cut out and my initial card design layout finished there, I moved on to making the graduation cap that I wanted to be the focal point in the center of that Sunburst. So I got out my layered square framelits. These are new. This is a new item in the catalog that was just released on June 1st. And I am holding up several different sizes of these squares to decide on which ones I wanted to use for my graduation cap. You'll need two squares. One square needs to be slightly larger than the other square so that you can create the top of the cap and then the bottom of the cap. So after I decided on the two sizes, I cut those out using my Big Shot. I cut those squares out of some basic black cardstock. And then now I'm going to need to make the base of the cap. I initially tried making the V shape that goes on top of your head using an oval punch, and that really didn't work out very well. So I decided to just freehand draw that V shape using a pencil. So I have the smaller basic black square here, and I just made a tick mark in the center of one side of the square, and I'm going to draw a curved V shape from the center of that tick mark, so that after I cut it out, you'll have the V shape that comes down the front of the forehead when you have on a graduation cap. So I just used my pencil here to draw this shape, and then I cut it out using this slice craft knife. I saw this on Pinterest and I got one, and it's pretty nifty. I plan on doing a product review of this craft knife soon, so stay tuned for that. But I just cut along the pencil line that I drew, and that gave me the V shape that I needed for the bottom part of my graduation cap. Once everything was cut out, I just adhered the two pieces together using some Tombow Multi-Mono liquid glue, and that created the graduation cap shape. And now it's time to make the tassel for the graduation cap. So I took some silver cord that I had, and I cut a length of the silver cord out using some paper snips. And then I cut that same length of cord about 6 more times, and that's going to create the body of the tassel. You will then need to cut an additional piece of cord out. You'll make a loop at the top and then tie that in the center, which leaves a loop, a knot in the center, and then 2 strands that hang below. Then you will thread through that loop all of the strands of string that you cut, and then you will use the 2 strands hanging from the knot to tie off those strands in the middle. Then you'll cut one more piece of that cord, and you will use that piece to tie off the top part of your tassel to create the little bow part at the top. And you can trim off any excess cord that you have left. I tied this in 2 knots to make sure it was nice and secure. And there you have your tassel. I went ahead and cut down this tassel to make it slightly smaller to fit the card better. I then took my paper piercer and made a hole in the center of the graduation cap top, and I threaded the loop from the tassel through the top of the cap and just adhered it to the back using some Scotch tape. Now we'll just continue to finish putting this card together. I'm going to use Tombow Mono Multi-Liquid Glue to glue both of these starbursts together. And when you glue the top starburst onto that black piece, you want to offset it so that the black peeks out from beneath each of those rays that are coming from the center of the sunburst. I have a piece of basic black that was cut to an top folding A2 size card base. I'm just going to use again that Tombow glue to adhere the other piece of designer series paper to the front, and then I will use that same glue to adhere the sunburst to the front of the card as well. And then I will use some scissors to cut off any of the extra pieces that are hanging off the card. I used a glue dot to secure that tassel onto the graduation cap so that it doesn't move around when I send this in the mail. And now it's time to work on our sentiment. I have this congrats sentiment from the Happy Happenings stamp set. I'm going to adhere that to my block and then stamp the sentiment on a piece of basic black using Versamark ink. I'll first treat that piece of cardstock with my embossing buddy so that I do not get any stray embossing powder anywhere. Now that my sentiment is heat set with my heat tool, I'll just cut it out using my trimmer. And then I'll also cut out a piece of silver foil paper, and I will just adhere that sentiment onto that silver foil paper and then put that on the front of my card using some more of those dimensionals, and I ended up putting that sentiment right there in the center. I liked where that sentiment ended up being in the center as opposed to the side. I adhered some black star sequins, and that finishes my card. Thanks for stopping by, and give me a thumbs up if you liked my video. Thanks. Bye-bye.